Yeah, you can't like do whip proficiency and then like make a note that you had one whip proficiency and then go do bow proficiency and then be like, oh, well, I want to do whip
Right.
again. Yeah, and I think honestly, like, I don't know if the whips get that much better, but like rawhide whip is just it's one speed more than the founding stone, but otherwise it's exactly the same. So you get to roll one more die, but I mean, well, it's got the priority target thing. I feel like there are some interesting uses for that. Like if you have a well armored character
Right.
or something that you like want to have
Yeah.
take the brunt of attack or want to like work positioning and stuff like that. But otherwise, I think it's just kind of a an odd weapon early on, anyways. But yeah, I mean that's totally up to you. If you want to keep doing the whip thing because you like because you're interested in the specialization of the mastery, then totally. Otherwise, like if you want to craft something else, um, then that's totally good too. I kind of feel like one of our better bets at this point might just be to like start working on a full set of rawhide armor. The full set of rawhide armor, what it does is I set all the like mastery and armor cards out on the old settlement, so you could just look at them. Um, the full set of rawhide armor gives you +1 armor to all hit locations on top of everything else that you get from the armor. And then when you perform a survival action, you roll 1d10, and 50% of the time on a roll of 6 plus, you're going to gain that one survival. So basically, you just get to keep your survival half the time when you spend it.
Huh.
Um, which is pretty useful. Like so,
Yeah.
even late game, that's going to be good to have because you're going to have somebody who's lighter armored. Um, plus, if you plus like it's going to give you certain parts of it are going to give you like +1 survival when you depart. Other parts of it, like the helm for a lot of sets, has a special ability. So the helm from this lets you spend your action. Rawhide Headband. Which you spend your action to reveal the top two AI cards and then place them back on top of the deck in any order. So you can use that to some extent to control AI, and especially if you have someone with a bow or like catgut bow early on at least, or something else that's cumbersome where you have to spend both your move and action. In any cases where you can't take an action, having because you're not in range and you have to move, um, having something like that to be able to use in those situations is nice. The gloves gain a survival when you depart. The chest, if you complete the red and blue affinity on it, you're going to get a bonus evasion, and if you make the gloves and the helm, you complete that affinity. Um,
Okay.
boots gain you a survival. I mean, yeah, it's just a good set, I think. Um, and we have right now we have 3 hides, 3 bones, and 2 organs. So, was there a particular weapon you wanted to make, Corey?
Not necessarily. It was more just like pointing out, and like either start a different survivor, which is probably not
Yeah.
necessarily that great of a.
Well, I mean, the only thing you're losing by starting a different survivor is the option at some weapon proficiency. Uh, and like these dudes are gonna die eventually anyways. So it's kind of up to you. Like you can either continue on in the hopes that we get bed and can unbreak your arm, um, or I mean, because you do have Clutch Fighter, which is okay. Honestly, I've never really seen any. I've seen like a couple times somebody with 3 or more blood tokens. But if you roll on, I mean, typically that means you're gonna have to roll at least twice on the severe injury table. Um,
Yeah,
that's
and you're likely to die in that scenario
die
anyway.
kind of in the process. There are some ways you can get blood tokens or bleeding tokens without having to roll on the severe injury table, but they're a little bit less common. They're more like nemesis encounter kind of things from what I've run into. Um, so I don't know. It's up to you whether you would want to. Uh, yeah, which of those things you would want to do, but um, I I still think there's some merit to making the catgut bow. It's not. I mean, you can have somebody that can stay safe uh, with less armor. The catgut bow hits pretty reliably. Um, well, wounds pretty reliably. It hits somewhat reliably. Um,
Well, then it makes it easier for us
range
to hit when we get the arrow too, right?
If we get the clawhead arrow, yeah. Why are these so small?
I don't know.
Oh, I guess they're just not the same size, and they just go back in anyways. Yeah, I mean, so that's an option. Like, I guess if we think that, like, hey, that antelope fight was maybe a little bit too hard, and we should just go back to fighting lions for next week, it might be good because then we could try to get the clawhead arrow and like combo that stuff up. But if you
So
like the whip and you want to keep, I don't know.
Well-
It's like I'm trying to let you guys make decisions, but I'm also not doing a good job of that.
So if we make the bow, how much armor can we scrape together?
Making the bow isn't going to affect our ability to make armor, and if we use all 3 hides we have, which would mean using the question mark thing as a hide and the pelt as a hide, and the pelt is specific to the antelope and to antelope gear later on, we can make 3 pieces of rawhide armor.
So really not a whole lot.
No.
Not a whole lot. The reason we would make 3 is because you could make the chest armor, the gloves, and the head armor, which will give you the appropriate affinities to be able to activate the +1 evasion on the chest armor. But if, say, we gave the chest armor to Fancher, who has a red affinity on his axe, and then we could just make 2 pieces of armor, and he would still get the +1 evasion.
Right.
I think that's a good call.
And then also because of my disorder.
And then save. That allows us to save the antelope pelt, right? Yeah.
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 So
And I
let's
mean-
do that. I will start another character, give that character the bow.
Okay, so we'll use one of the large flat teeth for the bow. Oh shit. Can I undelete stuff?
Whoa, what'd you do?
Loaded thing.
I was gonna say, it just fucking spazzed out.
I don't think I can undelete stuff. I just deleted. Deleted one of those. And I deleted a normal hide. We're good.
Okay.
In my games, I'd been like pulling this stuff out and copying it because that's how I was storing it. Whoops. Okay, we're good though. I fixed the deck. Then I think we should use the skull to make a skull helm. Does that seem reasonable?
Yep.
It's a pretty good use of a skull. Because normally a skull helm takes 2 bones or a skull, so I feel like that's cost efficient. And then we're gonna make the bow, which is gonna take our sinew, and one of those large flat teeth, and then we've got an organ and a bone left.
Do you want to use the bone to make that monster tooth necklace and one of the scraps from storage at the organ grinder?
We could. I want to look at what the beast knuckle does real quick, because the
Okay.
large flat tooth is used for that. Stone circles. Beast knuckle is 2 speed, hits on a 6+, is 4 strength. Paired, when you wound with this weapon, monster gains -1 toughness until end of attack. And...
Okay.
But you'd have to get 2 of them for that to really be that good, and it's
Right.
only like, it's only slightly better than Lion Beast Katar, so
Okay. So, and the monster tooth necklace is gain 1 strength, and then when you connect it with another red, it's another 1 strength. So it's potentially a 2 strength.
well, it's not when you connect it. So when you see, let me see if there's an example here. Okay, so when you see the full block like that, that means when you have any two affinity of that color, which means
Oh,
4 connections. Um, let me see. Find an example. Okay, so I think I just pulled the wrong thing. Right here. So if you see on this, the rawhide headband,
oh,
how
it's a
it's a
little
puzzle
puzzle
piece
piece.
instead of instead of the full block.
Right.
That means when you connect to that. So when that's connected by
Ah,
another blue, but when it's the full block, that means 2 affinity of that color, and an affinity is a connection. So it's got to be like 2 full connections,
okay.
or 4 touchy things of the same color.
Right. Okay.
Um,
So it'd have to be the 4 reds for it to get the bonus part. Got it.
yeah, so it's not super difficult, but it wouldn't be able to happen like right away.
Right.
Monster Tooth Necklace is good early. It doesn't hold up as well late, just because your gear, once you start getting armor and stuff, your gear grid starts to fill up,
Okay.
and there are things like the charms from Stone Circle. Um, I mean, that being said, like the solo game I'm playing, like 3 of my people have Monster Tooth Necklaces, so. But if you look at Stone Circle, there are those charms there, and
The
like
red
so.
charms, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so the red charm just gives you a straight up red affinity, and then when you attempt to
Uh,
wound instead, roll 1d10 and you wound 50% of the time, 1 to 5 fail, 6 to 10 wounds. So like
okay.
on harder monsters that's interesting, but like the blue charm, when you draw a trap, roll 1d10 on a 6+, discard the trap and reshuffle the deck.
Oh,
But
interesting.
that's only if that's only if you have 5 completed blue affinity though,
Oh, Jesus
which is
Christ.
pretty difficult. And like it's the same for all the charms. So the charms are really neat late, like uh, green charm with 5 green affinity. If you would die, roll 1d10 on a 6+. You inexplicably survive. You just get to live.
Oh,
So, but like you start to fill your grid with weird stuff like that later on. Um,
okay.
just so you know, not that I think
No,
the
yeah.
Monster Tooth necklace is a bad decision right now. I don't know. The thing is, we have right now 2 scrap and um, well, we really don't super need another weapon. So we built the catgut bow, right? And we built a skull helm. I don't think I pulled those out before I forget. From the cat stuff, search catgut bow. And go. It's down on Tori's thing. Here.
Did you already grab the helm, the skull thing?
I did not know if you want to
Okay.
snag that out. And then Corey's whip. I want to whip shit next game. And
So with the like, I noticed on the bone axe, the red square is to the left. So with the skull helm being the red square on the bottom, does that mean they do not connect?
correct.
Okay.
So that's why you have like a grid for your gear.
Right.
Um, oh wait, hold on, I grabbed the wrong shit. Yeah, because you actually have to be able to line your gear up in a way that all that shit works out, which is why like
Okay.
the affinity get pretty difficult to manage. Later
And
on, like
match
things
up,
have
right?
more affinities on them.
Okay.
But and that's why it's nice to like have full sets of gear because they typically match up their affinities reasonably well. That's gonna go back to these, and then we're gonna search the. What are you eating? Here. Good. You're an idiot. I'm gonna give you the helm. Bam. So that shit you can take, Fancher.
The rawhide? Oh, both?
Yeah, take that rawhide stuff. Yep. That'll go to you, and then We can have Corey's head not explode.